I'm your huckleberry.
This is the Smoking Guns Podcast.
No G with a Z, POD, Smoking Guns Podcast. Hanging out with you on a Monday night, a Victory Monday night. One of the most Victory Monday nights that we could imagine. Just an amazing, amazing game on Saturday. The beginning of something, we hope.
Hope so. Think so.
And we're going to talk all about what the offense looked like night and day. So much different than anything else we've seen. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about the six shooters and six shooters camp. They had some girls out there performing for us at halftime.
They did.
Which I wish they had been able to bring up on the broadcast. They showed the girls dancing and performing, but they just said, the six shooters out there performing and entertaining the fans. I would have loved for them to have a rundown of what that really was and talk a little bit about it on the halftime broadcast. But they still referred to the Freeman Coliseum as the Alamo on the broadcast. Yeah. So, is what it is. This is the Smoking Guns Podcast. My name is Philip Higginbotham. I'm one of your hosts for the next few minutes. I am joined, as always, by my good friends Leonardo Yamas.
What's up, Smoking Guns Posse?
And R.C. Woods.
Hello, beautiful people. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
The international traveler.
That's me.
Yeah.
The jet-setting international traveler, R.C. Woods, back from a stint in Europe, in London. That counts. It's Europe.
Yeah.
And came back via Chicago. Got stuck for a night in Chicago, or did you just want to visit Chicago? You love Chicago.
Well, I have two brothers in Chicago. So no, the flight got canceled due to weather. So they put us on the 9 p.m. flight for the next day. So there was 6 of us traveling together as a group. So we had to get a hotel. And I said, we need to go in the morning and make sure we're on standby. There was an 11 o'clock and a 2 o'clock. We got on the 11 o'clock flight, all of us on standby, which is rare. By the time we landed in San Antonio, the 9 o'clock p.m. flight had already been canceled, and the 3 o'clock. So we would have been there 2 nights in Chicago had we not gotten out at 11.
Well,
and they lost my luggage for 3 days. So it's not that I'm boring in London and I had the same outfit. I had nothing else to wear. Thank God I had extra chones in my carry-on and pajamas. For all those who don't know, underwear and pajamas. If not, I would have been out of luck.
RC, I think they sell clothes in Europe.
They do.
In the UK. I think they have
email.
we
located your suitcase. Okay, I'm going to get it soon. Okay, it's with the carrier. Okay, it's coming, right? I don't have to spend my money. I want to spend it in stuff that I want to get in London, not on clothes. And then by day 3, I was like, okay, the carrier says it's here. Where is it, front desk? They're like, nope, not here. I go upstairs, come back down. And I'm like, oh, yeah, here it is.
Well, we're sports people, and sports people are superstitious. And after you went on an international trip, we had the game that we had this past Saturday. So we need you to go like tomorrow.
You need to go back to London. Trip. You're going to have to go on another trip.
Yep.
I'll check the show. I'll check the show account and see if we have enough money to send you to I don't know, Mexico City or something. And then back.
So I have to go out of town
and then be back in time for the game.
Not even out of the country. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we can't mess with this now. Right. One of the things that happened at the game, and we want to jump right into, we want to talk all about the game, but we also want to talk about some of the stuff that happened outside the game. One of those things was that some of the ladies from the Gunslingers camp, the six shooters camp, were able to come out and perform. And we actually have a couple of them stopping by tonight because they wanted to come on and say, hey, thanks so much for the opportunity. And so we've got one right now waiting in the green room, and we're going to bring her on. Cecilia is, I have her last name somewhere too, Cecilia Martinez. Cecilia Martinez, we're going to bring her on. Hi, Cecilia. How are you?
Cecilia.
Hi.
Hi, sweetie. Oh, look at your shirt. I love it.
So did you have a good time at the camp and then performing last Saturday at the game?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of this experience of the camp and the game?
I got to dance with the 6-shooters.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
What's that?
Your pom-poms?
Huh?
You have your pom-poms?
Yeah.
Were you nervous, Cecilia? Oh, that's cool. Those are nice.
Shake them.
Yeah.
Can you shake your pom-poms?
I only have one.
That's okay. You're doing good. Yay!
Now, Cecilia, did you get to go out onto the field and perform with the 6-shooters at the game also?
Yeah.
Were you nervous about that at all?
Yeah.
But you still did great, I'm sure, right? It looked like everybody out there was having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And who went with you to the game, Cecilia?
My dad.
Ooh, I bet he was real proud of you.
He was.
Good. What was the best part of everything? The camp and going to the game. What did you like the best?
I got to dance.
Mm-hmm. What did you learn?
Wasn't about learning. It was about having a great time, right?
Yeah,
So you had fun.
She learned a cool dance routine that they got to perform out there, right?
Well, you did awesome. We took pictures, right?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, can you tell everyone thank you for everything that they did to send you to camp?
Thank you for sending me to camp.
You're very welcome, sweetheart.
You are very welcome. We're so glad that you had a good time.
That's awesome.
All right.
Yep.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
There you go. There's Cecilia Martinez, one of
so cute
our campers. She was in the girls camp, the young girls camp. The I don't remember what they were calling that wasn't the Boot Scoot and Boogie one. That was the
no, it wasn't.
No, yeah.
So she got to perform. We do have possibly one more stopping by here in a few minutes, and we'll jump over and talk to her a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that, RC, because I know you were out of town when the camp happened. You wanted to be there, I'm sure,
right?
Because you love to do that kind of stuff.
Had quite a really big number of people coming to us. Originally, we only had 2, and then it grew to 3. And by the end of the camp, there was 5 young ladies that we were able to sponsor, which is amazing because that's the most we've ever sponsored. And so we had 2 that are in the younger camp, and the rest were in the older camp, which was great. And they were able to participate in the camp. And then one thing that was different this year was they were actually able to perform on the field. And so at the game on Saturday, I was able to go backstage, kind of in the back, take some pictures of the girls, them in line. They were able to perform the routine. And I think one of the main things that you could tell right away, every single girl was smiling from ear to ear. They were just so happy. And they were shaking their pom-poms. And all of them followed directions. And then when they had the big group, and then they came off the field, you couldn't tell, but they were all well-behaved, sitting by on the wall. Then the older girls came out and they performed incredible. And then when they all went backstage, they were all cheering for each other. It was just really, really great just to see that confidence in the young girls and also in the older girls. And the fact that they were able to attend the game with their parents. Like Cecilia, she went with her dad. I think everyone got at least, 2 tickets to go to the game. So that was just really, it really changed, I think, the whole atmosphere in the whole Freeman Coliseum when they saw all these young, happy faces coming out and dancing.
Yeah, absolutely. A great way to get young folks involved in the Gunslingers organization and get families involved. It's a family organization. It always has been. And to connect with girls and families is a great deal. And then coming up soon, we should have the football camp. We've got another one.
Yeah.
Dakota is jumping on now, and she was part of the teen clinic, I believe. Dakota, is that right? You were part of the teen clinic?
Yes, I was.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what happened at camp or at the clinic. Like, take us through what the day looked like, at least what you remember.
I remember getting there. The girls on the team were helping us like sign in, make sure our parents were there to like give us wristbands, and then we got our shirts for the games, and then we went and took pictures, got our pom-poms. Then we finally went into the studio, and we started off saying like in a big circle, just like getting to know everyone in the room. So we played like a little bingo game, like trying to find different people that like getting us talking to other
Like an
people that we
icebreaker.
didn't know. Yeah, like. And then we finally warmed up, stretched, and we started learning the dance, which was a lot of fun. They broke it down to where it was like very simple and easy to like understand and get down. And then we got a little snack. We did some across the floors with the coaches, got to do some improv, show our skills, and we played more games like making up our own choreography to dances, using this different style of dance that some of us aren't used to, which was a lot of fun. We got to perform those in front of the class, and then we continued to work on the dance that we were going to do in the halftime show, and then we got to take pictures with the girls afterwards, and yeah.
Great. Now tell us a little bit about your experience at the game and doing the halftime routine.
It was like a rush. Like I've never performed in front of that many people like on a football field before. I've only done studio dance, so this was like a whole new experience for me. It was a lot of fun. The girls brought like positive energy, like reinforcements to girls that were nervous, ran over the routine with us multiple times, and just like having them, like seeing them out there smiling and supporting us was something I got to experience there too. But it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience.
Great. And so how did you learn about the camp?
I learned from Risa, which she used to be a part of the Six Shooters, and some of my dance classmates were also going to do it. So I kind of decided last minute to join, but I was like, it's a new experience that I might not get to do again. So yeah.
Very cool.
Had you been to a
consider
Gunslingers
trying out
game?
for the Six Shooters?
I'm sorry?
Would you consider trying out for one of the Six Shooters?
I would. Yeah. It's
Very
definitely
cool.
an option.
Nice. You know, there's been girls that have attended the camp in the past that have ended up becoming Six Shooters. So there's definitely a track there for you. Was this your first time to a Gunslingers game, or had you been before, Dakota?
It was my first time. So.
What'd you think?
It's a lot different than like watching NFL football, but it was a lot, for me, it was a lot more entertaining.
Oh, good. Good. Repeat that so everyone could hear that.
Love to hear that.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Very cool.
Great. So what advice would you give someone else who was thinking about coming to camp next year?
I would say just do it. Go out there, have fun, be confident, because who knows, you might love it. If you don't, you found out, you got that experience. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's best to try new things and have fun. Just go out there with confidence.
Well, that's
Very good
great.
advice.
I'm so glad that we were able to help you out to attend this camp.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Dakota. We'll see you soon. Maybe at
you.
another Gunslingers game soon, and
Yes.
keep in contact with the six shooters and try out here in a couple of years, and you'll get to
I
go to the
will.
games all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, I will. Thank
Guns
you.
up.
You bet. Thanks, Dakota.
Thank you.
That's really cool. So you get
Yeah.
to see one from each camp. Again, not that we want to make this about us or about the show, because it's not about us. It's about some people that partner with us and make that possible. But both of those girls, RC, my understanding is both of those are girls that we sponsored for camp. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So they got an opportunity to participate because of our listeners, because of folks that make this show happen and make this show go, and then make things like that possible. And so you hear right there what a benefit that was, and what a great game to bring a few new families and new folks into. As Zach Calzada, at least that's how they said his name on the broadcast. So I'm going to go with Calzada. I said Calzada all week last week, and if I slip into that, it's still possible. But Zach Calzada takes the field, and Leo, you and I both watching from different places, you there in Freeman Coliseum, and then me at home, were immediately recognizing this is something different than we've seen all season. First drive was all business. He made his way down the field. He ran into the end zone.
And boom.
He knew what he was doing. This was not a guy that was unfamiliar with the game of indoor football and was getting his feet under him, even though he had only had 2 or 3 days in the building and able to practice with this team. He didn't look like that at all, did he?
Not at all.
No, he did not look like he had just had a couple days with the guys. I mean, they were that offense was humming like it hadn't been all season. I think that's very telling about not only the arm talent that it's going to be hard for me to say Calzada because I've been saying Calzada. I've been saying Calzada ever since Saturday. Joshua Puga, he was ready for war. He definitely was. He came out. He's a big dude. 6'4", 230, I think is what he's listed at. And he could run. But what we saw, I think it wasn't just the arm talent. It was the poise, the calm, even when under pressure. There was one play in particular, not the one that I know you just talking about, Philip, but later in the game where we saw a low snap, which we've seen many of those this season, and it's in the dirt at his feet, and he calmly leans down, picks the ball up off the feet quickly, and I noticed he didn't scramble. He didn't. His initial reaction to that wasn't, I need to move. I need to run away from the pressure. He stood right where he picked the ball up, calmly looked down the field, went through his progressions, found a guy, and barely had to move out of the pocket. That his calmness under pressure was just something we have not seen. And found a guy over the middle and just hit him right in the hands going down for, I don't think it was a first down, but it was very close to one if it wasn't. And that's just something, when we've had a bad snap up to this point, the play has pretty much been disastrous. it's been, that was the end. That's the end of the play right there. And our guys are just scrambling and trying to make something happen that, not in script, but he doesn't leave the script. I see a very talented quarterback in Calzada or Calzade. I'm going to struggle with that this whole show.
And he
We
has
should have talked about that before.
He played for the Kentucky Wildcats. He played for the Texas Aggies, A&M. He played for the Auburn Tigers, and he played here at Incarnate Word University with the Cardinals.
2 years.
2 years.
And very successful there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed by the poise. I was impressed by, you say not just the arm, but the arm talent is there. He's making throws. I noted a particular pass that you will never see. So, second possession, first play of the possession is a long throw downfield on a dime to his receiver. After a little bit of pressure in the pocket, he does have to move around a little bit, gets the ball out, and just delivers it directly to his receiver in the end zone. It was one of the prettiest passes I've seen in football. He's on the run or he's moving, and he's still able to deliver it accurately to an open receiver. It was well done. And what's great about it, Leo, is it didn't count. It'll never show up anywhere. It's not one of his 12 for 17 because there was a holding call on the play. So even in a play that did not count, that we lost 10 yards on, I learned everything in the second possession, first play of the game that did not count, that I was going to be excited about this quarterback for the rest of this game. And then as I'm sitting there thinking about it, you text me from the game with practically the same sentiment of like, I know that play got called back, but that is one of the best passes I've ever seen. You had a better vantage point than I did. What did you see?
Yeah, it was in the end zone that we sit at.
Yep.
And it was a perfectly thrown ball hitting the receiver in stride where only he could get it. Didn't matter what the coverage was. I mean, there was a guy there, but he hit I'm trying to remember who the receiver was. But it was perfectly placed ball. A perfectly placed ball. You don't expect one from a guy coming in who's not ever played indoor football again.
Right.
We all know the field size is different. The dimensions are different. Therefore, the routes have to be different. The way you throw the ball is different. So when a guy comes in, even though he's got a resume and has done lots of good things prior to in the 100-yard variety of football, you expect there to be an adjustment period. You expect there to be some things that they have to work out. Zach Calzada just came out and looked like he's been playing indoor football for like a couple of years. So from that end zone, I'm sitting there on the wall. Steve-O, a good friend of the show from way back in the Commander days, he's sitting he's standing to my right watching that, and the ball's perfectly thrown, by the way, with a lot of velocity as well. Like, these balls aren't floating, they're not floaters, they're well thrown with velocity and accuracy, and the receiver brings it in, and I'm going crazy, and he looks at me and he says it doesn't count. It's not going to count. There's a flag on the field, and it's going to be against us. And I looked at him and I said, Steve, I don't care. I don't care if it didn't count. That was the best pass I've seen this year. And he looks at me, he goes, you're not wrong. And I think on the very next play, we scored. It didn't matter.
I don't know if it was the very next play or a play or two after that. It was the pass. The second touchdown was his first passing touchdown, and it was one over a defender to a receiver that was past the defender, not where the defender could make a reaction to it. And our receiver is able to catch the ball and turn around and basically walk into the end zone because of where the ball was placed. He took the defender out of the play. The defender had no play. He had no play on the ball. And once the ball is caught, he has no play on the receiver because of where the ball is placed, where the pass is placed. It was incredible. It was really, and I know it sounds like we're blowing a lot of smoke at this guy. It's his first game. We're going to talk a little bit about the only negative comments I've heard is, well, look who they're playing. We're going to talk about all that in a minute. Look, we've watched Gunslinger football for the past 2 years, and we've been
struggling.
We've been wanting a quarterback because we got spoiled. Our first year in the IFL, we had Sam Castronova, and Sam Castronova is an incredible quarterback.
Right.
And so we got spoiled with Sam Castronova, and then we went into last year, and we had, Malik Henry, and we had some of these guys float in and out. We settled with Joaquin Collazo, and he put a great cap on the end of the year. Showed some real growth and some real progress. Unfortunately, this year he's been plagued by some injury issues and some of those kind of things. We've had Fred Payton in here, and I don't want to speak ill of Fred. Fred, by the way, has been released by the team. He was released to make room for Zach Calzada, the way it looks, and even took over his number. Fred was 9 and then had to move to 10 when his jersey got torn. I guess they replaced that 9 jersey or stitched it back up or whatever. And when Zach came in, he becomes number 9. But really, since Castronova, we've had the best we could say about our quarterback at play is it was good enough. Look, we're looking at potentially offensive player of the week in the IFL. Yeah. I really don't see how they could give it to anybody else. He had 5 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns.
If he doesn't get it,
touchdowns.
If he doesn't get it, it's just bias. It's a bias in the sense of we're not going to give it to a guy that just came in this week and right off the bat going to give him that kind of an award.
Right.
That's the only reason he may not get it, but like he clearly deserves it.
Right.
One word that comes to mind when I see him play is effortless. His passes seem effortless. Just they glide through the air, and it's like a magnet because it's on target, and they just meet. It's just perfect.
It was really an incredible performance, and what I love about it is it felt like it. I posted something, or I sent something to both you and Ralph Leo mid-game. A rising tide floats all boats. Zach is out there and performing better. Sure. And it seemed like everyone else in a Gunslinger uniform, even on the defense, are performing at a different level because they feel like they're in this thing. They're not having to carry more weight than they should have to shoulder. Riverius Rivers had an incredible game. He doesn't play with Zach. He's not on the same side of the field as Zach. And he had an incredible game with 2 interceptions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something about Riverius Rivers and floating all boats. And in our end zone so far this season, we've seen plenty of times the guys come out on kickoffs. And this is the first time, at least for me, I know I've missed a game or 2 this season, but this is the first time this season that I'm sitting there in the end zone and those guys are fired up, waiting for Tyler Huddle to kick the ball off, and they're talking to each other. They're talking, they're pumping each other up, getting ready for the kickoff, and that has 100% has not happened in any game that I've been at this season. But this past Saturday, they were fired up each and every time. They were clearly having fun. They were high-fiving the fans along the wall. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were fired. What we've talked about on the show. My son being one of the athletic trainers on the group this season, and he texted me and said the bench, the dugout area where the players are, he's like, this is the most fun it's been all year because everyone was pumped and fired up and just having a great time. 100%. That's the difference that it makes when you have when you're just pumping on all cylinders. The offense is out there just looking as good as it was. And yeah, it's the opponent is who the opponent was. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about
But-
that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But the confidence, it could be seen right away. And even from behind the wall, you could see the confidence of all the players when they were like excited about the score. They were looking up, and it was just great. It was great to see everyone having a good time at the game.
Well, and it's so interesting because as much as we're dominating the game, and we were just dominating New Mexico. Even when they score a touchdown, we throw the challenge flag, the only challenge flag of the game. Does it matter? No. But Bain was right, and they call the touchdown back because it's just one of those things where our defense has played too well for us to give a cheap, touchdown that wasn't a touchdown back. Speaking of a rising tide floating all boats, Zach Calzada comes in and goes 12 of 17, 186 yards, which is incredible, which is solid in the indoor football game. I know that you stack that up against outdoor football, and that number looks small and low. But 186, 5 touchdowns, and when he comes out of the game, because the game is well in hand, Joaquin Collazo comes in relief, coming off an injury. We've seen him come into games already this season. We've seen him play this season. But, Leo, he has never looked as composed as he was 7 of 7 for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns of his own.
Yeah, he looked like the Joaquin Collazo of last season,
right?
The end of the season. He came out and played his best game of the year. And yeah, I think it's all attributed to, I don't want to say one player, but it's just the execution was at a different level, and the primary fire behind that, the primary what's the word I'm looking for, like spark plug behind that is obviously going to be the quarterback. You were mentioning stats, Philip. What is the stat all year long that I've been harping on that has been the clear indication of a problem with execution?
Third down and fourth down efficiency.
Third down and fourth down efficiency. You know what it was this game? Third down efficiency? 100%. 6 of 6. 100% on third down. 0% on fourth down, because guess what? Oh, wait, I read that wrong. We did have a one failure on fourth down efficiency, 1 of 0. I don't remember what that was. It may have been just to kill a play or kill a drive, I think, or end the clock.
Frankly, I think that's I'm looking at the same stat line you're looking at. Yeah. I think that is some sort of stat keeping anomaly, because you can't go for 6 for 6 on third down and have a fourth down possibility.
You're right. You're right.
So I think 1 of 0, just they have to have something in that line or something along that line. 1 of 0 is not the way you write that stat. So if you are 6 of 6, you converted on 6 opportunities.
Yes, that's right. So there could not be a fourth down.
If you're 5 of 6, you converted 5 of your 6 opportunities. 1 of 0 means you converted 1 of your 0 opportunities. That
doesn't make sense.
That math don't math, and I'm no math guy, but I know that math don't math. So I think that's just a scorebook anomaly that you're looking at there, because I'm looking at the same thing. 6 for 6 on third down. Never got to a fourth down play if you're to buy into that. They scored, Leo. Every time they touched the ball, they scored a touchdown.
Every possession. Yep.
Every possession. I don't know when the last time. I know we've done that before. I know that we've been in games that way before, but I can't remember a time.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about numbers? Go ahead.
I was gonna say they almost, speed of scoring, they were very near their season high at halftime when they had 39 points. It was
that's
30,
where I was going next.
Yeah, 39-10. I gotta tell this story though. 39 to
Go
10.
ahead.
You know, our patron of this show, Greg,
Love him.
he's to my left, Steve's to my right, Greg to my left, and Greg turns and looks at me, and the score is 39 to 10, and he goes, "Oh no, we're up 29 points."
Ah!
Oh, Lord.
Which I was like, Greg, you jerk. You jerk.
In
He's
San
making a
Antonio.
joke referencing the Spurs, you know, blowing the game, being up 29 to the Knicks just a couple days earlier. I was like, that too soon, Greg. It still hurts my heart.
Too
I was
soon.
like, yeah. But no,
So-
we did not have the collapse with the Gunslingers.
Here's some numbers for you. I went back and started looking.
Mm.
The San Antonio Gunslingers have scored more than 74 points one time in their entire history. Since 2021, I could only find one game where we scored more than 74 points. It was in 2022, our first year in the NAL. We played a game in Columbus against the Columbus Lions in Georgia. That game was 79 to 75.
Mm.
The Gunslingers lost to the Columbus Lions. So we scored more than 74 points, but we also lost the game by 4 points back in 2022. That is the only time that this team has scored more points. We have never scored more than 70 points and won a game until this game. Leo, we doubled our score average for the year. Before the game, it was 29.9 points. After this game, it was 33.9 points, which means we raised in one game, we raised the score average for a 11 game season by 4 points in one game.
That's awesome.
We brought the entire average of the season up 4 points.
4 points
in one game.
One
we doubled our average. We also are the highest scoring IFL offense of the season thus far.
Ooh,
no
that's
team
great.
has scored 74 points. 2 times teams have scored 73 points. Vegas did it, and I want to say San Diego did it, scoring 73, but nobody has scored 74 points except the San Antonio Gunslingers this season.
Hold on.
I like those stats.
That stat that you're telling me there. Hold Philip, if it's
there a
true, which
controversy on the
I'm sure
podcast?
it is. I'm sure it's true.
Prove me wrong. I went and looked, but
No,
you have to
I'm
be
sure
wrong.
it's true. I believe you. But that's interesting, seeing as how we have some people that are saying, yeah, but it's the Chupacabras. The Chupacabras
Great,
have now
Ludian.
played 11 games. And
Yep.
you're telling me they didn't give up 74 points to anybody prior to this game?
Wow.
Nope. I'm
Okay.
running down those
Or
scores
has
right
any
now.
team.
Right. Not against the Chupacabras. San Diego did it on 23 points on Friday, April 17th against the Quad City Steamwheelers. Pretty good team there. 73 to 59. And then later in the season, now Green Bay scored 71 to 68 over Orlando in April, on April 24th. Hey, that's my anniversary. I probably didn't watch that game. And then I'm looking for the other 73. I know it's here. I saw it earlier. Here it is. Vegas in Orlando, 73-33 over the Orlando Pirates. No other team in the IFL this season has scored 74 points. The most anyone's done, 73. And so that leads us to a great point, Leo, because the only thing that we've heard, and we heard it from a good friend of the show and somebody we love, somebody we respect. But one of our friends has posted online and said, what are you getting so excited about? Look who they played. They played a 1-8 team and they made them 1-9. And part of me understands exactly where he's coming from, Leo. Part of me understands, hey, you won a game you were supposed to win.
Mhm.
That's true. And if this was a 35-22 win, if this was a one possession win or maybe even a 2 possession win, yeah, I don't get real excited about that. I'm not worried about the 18 points that the New Mexico Chupacabras. To me, that says who they are. They scored 18 points on a really good defense. We have a really good defense in the IFL. They could only muster 18 points. I'm not looking at that side of the equation at all when I get excited about this game. I'm looking at the side of the equation that goes, hey, we couldn't score more than 35 points in a game, and we just ripped off 74 against anybody. Because
Anyone.
You and I both know, the three of us know, and anybody listening also knows, that the reason we weren't scoring points was not the defense on the other side of the field up until this point. It was, as Coach Bain has told us over and over again, execution on our side of the field was keeping us from scoring points, not necessarily the defenses on the other side of the field. So the 74 points is not about, well, look who they were playing. The 74 points is they finally figured something out. The offense is finally working the way you want your offense to work. Right?
We found the missing link.
Well, Josh was right here. He says it was execution. And that's the word we've heard over and over again from Coach Bain. I have reached out to Coach Bain. I've invited him on the show. I would love for him to pop on. We'll see if he does. He has the ability to pop on anytime. I send him the link every week, I think, for him to pop on if he wants to. I would be surprised if we didn't hear from him tonight, but he might be busy. He might be doing something else. He does have to get ready for a trip up to Oklahoma.
That's true.
So, yeah, the doubling your season average, your offensive average for a 10-game season is not anything that you can look at and go, wow, why are you getting so excited? Because it's exciting.
Yeah,
Because
the performance was exciting. The win was exciting. The fans were exciting. Everything about it was exciting.
It was an exciting game. It was probably the best game. It was the best. Look, there was one other game that was really, really exciting in Freeman Coliseum, a home game. It was San Antonio and Carolina in that 2023 season, the second season in the NAL. It was an overtime 61-60. Jonathan Bain was the quarterback on the other side of the ball in that game. That was a really, really exciting game. To me, this was even better than that game. It was just domination. It was domination all the way across. The only area we didn't dominate, Leo, was, maybe special teams. But what was great about that is we didn't need Tyler to be at 100%, and he's not. He's clearly not. He's got a brace on his plant leg. He's having a little bit of trouble kicking the ball where he wants to kick it. He'll get that squared away and figured out. We know that he got rolled up on last week.
Still mad at the Sharks about that. Yeah, I'm worried about my guy.
Yeah. There's a conversation going on in the comments that if you're not listening or watching through the comments, you may not realize. Michael Benjamin, who is a Knicks fan, got a congratulations from Leo and said thank you. And then he says, I hope Leo will congratulate me when the Jets win the Super Bowl.
You've gone too far. You've gone too far.
Sure.
I just replied to him. That's the funniest thing you've ever said. And he said some funny things. So
yeah, sure. If the Jets win the Super Bowl, I'm sure Leo will give you a congratulations. April Trotter, who has been in the comments, and as she usually is, says, I can honestly say that Coach Jonathan Bain made an amazing decision. We have a freaking amazing team. I didn't want to say this, and I think I've left this unsaid all season long, but it felt like we had a team, aside from our quarterback play, that could do these kind of things. We just didn't have that one piece that fell into place that made it possible. And now we do. And frankly, like, I don't know what Tulsa's going to bring. We're going to go out to Tulsa and we're going to play them. We've got another game against Vegas coming up. Like, those are going to be tough games, but I'm not dreading those games. I'll be honest, I was kind of dreading Vegas. I was kind of dreading Vegas week a little bit, you know? I was, do we really want to go into Vegas, get our tails whipped, and come out? And now I'm like, you know what? Let's see what happens. I want to see.
Fighting chance.
I just want to see where we stack up against Vegas. I mean, look, Vegas is not unbeatable. They just got beat by Tucson the next night, the night after we played.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not unbeatable. So, you know, now I want to see what this is going to look like.
I like what
see
Agnes,
what this offense.
or I'm sorry, April. I like what April says. We had a missing piece to the puzzle.
The link.
Yeah.
We found the link.
We think we found that piece, and that's I think we're gonna find out a lot in this next game against Tulsa.
Yes.
Here's what I like. Here's what I like about Tulsa, about this game against Tulsa. It is a step up in competition. Tulsa is better than New Mexico.
Yes.
But one of the things that we know from watching Tulsa in 2 games that we've already played them is that their defense is a very base level defense. It's just a very basic defense. They'll tell you that themselves. Their coaching staff will tell you we run a very basic zone sort of defense. It was a defense that Jonathan Bain was hoping we could take advantage of the last time we played them in San Antonio. Now we go in against a team that runs that sort of defense with a quarterback that still needs to get used to everything. He's still getting you. Look, he looked like he'd been there all year, but he's still just getting to know these guys. He's been in the building for 2 or 3 days. Now he gets to go into a second week against a slightly better opponent or a better opponent that still runs a defense that doesn't do a lot of shifts, that doesn't do a lot of pass offs. It's a basic zone sort of defense, or at least it has been most of the season. And we can see what Zach will do against that sort of defense on our way to get ready for some of these games that we have later in the season.
I have a quick question. So I know on the program it has that the San Antonio Spurs are in 5th. Did we move up with this game?
You mean
the San Antonio
Gunslingers?
The Gunslingers.
We are still 1 game back. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
We did not move up. Tucson was able to beat the Vegas Nighthawks.
Big surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big surprise of a game. And that meant that we stayed in our 5th spot. But here's the thing. If we go out and take care of business, if we win when we can win, we'll get that spot back. We will wind up climbing the ranks, whether that's over Tucson or over someone else. We will climb up the ranks if we just do what we can do. We can't control what Tucson does anyway, but the key here is if we tie with Tucson, we get the spot.
Okay.
We played Tucson 1 time this season and we won that game. They are not on our schedule later in the season for some reason, and I've always felt it's weird in the IFL the way they schedule things, but they scheduled a division opponent 1 time on our schedule, and that game was out in Tucson, and we won that game. And so if it comes down to a tiebreaker and everything else is equal, we win over them. So we just have to keep winning the games that we can win, and that includes Tulsa this week. It's not a conference game, but it doesn't really matter. We've got to win. Tiebreakers in, Ralph Judkins says, tiebreakers in conference record 2, but I believe we have them in conference record. I believe we're ahead of them in conference record. I can check that pretty quickly, I think.
We're tied for wins, but we have 2 less losses.
Okay, so we have a better
percentage
winning percentage in conference record. So yeah, That's the important side of that. We just have to tie with Tucson, and we beat them. I think we mentioned the week of that game that game was going to be really important, simply because it was the only time we were playing them this season, and that meant we had to get the win just in case tiebreakers came into play.
Yeah.
We finish out the month Tulsa and at Vegas. At Tulsa, at Vegas. We are on the road for the next 2 weeks, and then we have a bye week, I think, between Vegas and
then our next game is July 11th.
Yes. The next game at home is July 11th against Orlando. A very winnable game if our offense is performing like it was. But what's crazy is all of these feel winnable if our offense.
I was going to say, if our offense performs the way all these games are winnable all of a sudden. Yeah. We're talking about what standings and where we move. I feel good about our chances of getting into the playoffs right now. What I'm really curious about, Philip, and I wonder if you share my same curiosity, means absolutely nothing other than, people are noticing all of a sudden. But I want to see where the Gunslingers end up in the coaches poll after this.
Ooh.
It's only one game, but how much of an impression did that make to the rest of the league?
I don't expect much of a shift in any sort of power rankings or coaches poll simply because of New Mexico. Because of who the opponent is, I don't see anybody really look. I just don't expect it. I won't be surprised if we move up a spot or two.
Yeah, but having now the zero, yeah,
Ralph says zero. We won't.
I tend to agree with you, but I didn't know that we just set the scoring record for the league this season, and that carries a lot of weight in my opinion. But I also don't think any of these coaches are going to want to give the Gunslingers that much credit that quickly.
But anything you say about this game can immediately be countered by somebody but it was New Mexico.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody scored 74 points, but it was against New Mexico. So other teams have played New Mexico. That's Vegas, we beat New Mexico. Ralph says we beat New Mexico harder than anyone else has beat New Mexico. That's true. You're right. Yeah. Arizona has played New Mexico. They didn't beat them that bad. They beat them. They didn't beat them that bad. I'm looking at New Mexico's.
I'm doing the same thing to see what the previous high was, and it was 55.
Well, y'all are looking at
61. 61
on watch parties. Have you heard anything about watch parties? April, you seem to be on it like a bonnet. Anything?
Nothing yet. It's gonna if we're talking about the same sort of watch party that's been done in the past, it's gonna depend on Matt at Matanga's. That's been the place. That's been the go-to place. And it's gonna depend on what his thoughts are. Well, I mean, it's not that we don't want to be at it's not that we don't want to be at another location, but it's like, do we know any people with business owners that have space and the accommodations, the technology to be able to air a game that's at a different location? Do we know anyone like that?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Not that Matanga's isn't a great place, because it really is, and the pizza's really good. But I understand how that's a distance from some people. But April Marie Trotter, she lives out like way in the hill country somewhere and has managed to make it out there.
I think we're going to have to carpool. If you could pick me up, that'd be great. I'll pay for gas.
Yes, Ralph, ask. We're not TSP, but I know what you mean. He said, I haven't asked. Is TSP asking me to ask? He means is SGP. And yes, go ahead and ask. Here's some numbers, as you guys were talking about watch parties, since that doesn't really affect me at all.
Okay.
Here's some numbers that you may find interesting. There are 3 teams above. There are 3 guaranteed playoff teams. They're not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. But 3 really good teams in the West in the IFL. That is the Jacksonville. No, I'm sorry. They're in the East. The Vegas Nighthawks, the champion Vegas Nighthawks. San Diego is number 2 right now in the West, and then Arizona is number 3. Those teams have all played New Mexico, so against like opponents.
Right.
Is what we're going to do right now. We're going to play a game called Against Like Opponents, that opponent being New Mexico. Scores against New Mexico by those 3 teams. Vegas has beat New Mexico 48-12. We beat them 74-18. That is, take that for what you will. Mm-hmm. I think that score matches up pretty well. I think that puts us in the same stratosphere against a like opponent in Vegas. Would you agree, Leo, or do you think the 74 points puts us above a Vegas win that is 48-12?
I think it's comparable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what I would say. It's comparable. Mm-hmm. Arizona has beat New Mexico 61-15. Again, a comparable sort of score.
Yes.
To San Antonio's 74-18. San Diego has beaten the New Mexico Chupacabras 55-45.
Ooh, a little bit closer.
Ooh, that's a close one.
And then, of course, San Antonio 74-18. So those are the 3 playoff teams that we feel like are playoff teams, right? And then our score lined up with them. I feel like we belong in that conversation at this point.
Yeah, like Ralph said, we beat them the hardest.
Yeah, we beat them more than anyone. We beat them harder than anyone else beat them.
Yeah,
and so that's got to count for something. That's. Josh says he's skipping the watch party. He's going to Tulsa.
Nice.
More power to you, dude.
Cool.
I wish I could make that happen. I'm going to be in Corpus for a work meeting. Even if I wasn't, I would need to be home because I need to be home packing boxes. Because the moving van shows up next Wednesday, about 10 days from now. The moving truck shows up, and I don't think we're ready for that just yet. Anybody that's moved before knows that feeling of like, why do we have all of this? Why do we have this much stuff? And we're doing that right now. We're playing those games right now.
Plus it's Father's Day weekend, which makes things a little bit harder.
Not this week. Yeah, you're right. This weekend.
Yeah,
you're absolutely
it's this
right.
weekend.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. You're right. Agnes also going to be in Tulsa. Yeah, but Agnes, that's not the same drive for you as it is for people here in San Antonio. McKinney to Tulsa is like a half-day trip. It's not even a half-day trip. What is it? 2 hours, 3 hours to Tulsa from McKinney? That's
maybe
nothing.
4 or 5 hours, I think. Yeah.
Oh no, it's not that far.
No,
to Tulsa? No, I think it's 3 or less. Which you know, I'm pretty sure McKinney to Tulsa is 3 or less. I'm genuinely excited about this game. I'm genuinely excited to see what San Antonio can do. I think it's going to be a great, it's 3 hours. Agnes says it's 3 hour drive. That's about what I thought. From McKinney. Be up there very soon. I'll be, about an hour and a half east of you here very, very soon. We'll see you that Josh says to Agnes, we'll see you there. We need to meet up and add Gunslinger Fire in the house.
There you go.
So the remaining schedule for San Antonio, we talk about after this game, after the Tulsa game, we have Vegas. I am going to be very interested. If we go out and we're able to dominate against Tulsa, which I think is a very real possibility, given what our defense has been all year and what our offense has now shown potential to be, I see the potential to dominate Tulsa. I'm not saying we're going to, but I see potential to dominate Tulsa because we've already been close to Tulsa. Am I wrong, Leo?
No,
or do you feel
right.
like that's right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if we go in and beat Tulsa and it's a close game, then we still feel good, but we still have questions. But if we go into Tulsa and we dominate, then the only question is, how do we look against Vegas at that point?
Right. Yeah, it sets up so well. You start off slow. You beat New Mexico, which, hey, they're a football team. They're a team in the IFL. They put a team on the field. We beat that team.
We beat them.
You go up against the next level up. That's a Tulsa. Then one of these middle of the pack. Are they a playoff team? Are they not? Sort of teams. You go in and you dominate against them. And then you start looking to the next tier up. And you go, hold up. Do we play on that level now? Are we up on that level?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable ladder to climb. If you go into Tulsa and you dominate in Tulsa, not just get a win, but you dominate, you are in control of that game, then you look 7 days out at Vegas on the 27th, and you're going, hey, why not? Why can't we? Which, remember, the ability to walk into Vegas and say, why not? Why can't we beat Vegas after what they did to us here back in, what was that, April?
Yeah.
That was the low point. Am I wrong? Was that not the low point of the season for a lot of people? 62-35. We were not
62-35. It was pretty rough.
We were not in that game, it felt like, at all at any point. I know these last two games before this win, the Vegas and Jacksonville games, the second halves felt bad, but at least we could point to the first half and be like, we kind of had some things together. It just got out of our control. I don't feel like the Vegas game ever felt that way. I don't think we were ever in control of that game.
You know what? It was a low point. I don't think it was the low point. I think the low point would have been just prior to this week, having gone on the road and lost two games that we knew we were gonna lose, but been dominated in the second half as ugly as we had been both games. That to me was the low point. 2 games in a row, absolutely dominated in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Jacksonville, we didn't score a point in the second half. That was rough. I just feel like in both of those games, we could still, those of us, and I freely admit I'm one of these people that could grab onto any little positive thing and be like, but at least this, could grab onto the first half in both that Green Bay and Jacksonville game and go, but at least we did this. In Vegas, it didn't even feel that way. Like I felt like Vegas was just dominated from beginning. I was at that game. I felt like we were dominated beginning to end of that game. I don't feel like we were ever in that game. It was really demoralizing. And so I just kind of feel like Ralph says he's the master of glasses half full glasses. Are you saying that about me or about yourself, Ralph? Because I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I know
which one is the master?
And I'm curious which one of us is easier at the half full glasses. And Ralph also said Tulsa is a benchmark game of growth this season, and he's absolutely right.
Yep.
We've seen what we can do, and that's a natural progression. You win little, you win big. You lose big, you lose little. You win little, you win big. There's a natural progression to kind of moving up. In the same way, you beat a 1-8 team, and then you go up against Tulsa. What's Tulsa's current record, Leo? Can you get to it before I can? No, you can't. They're 6-5. You beat a 1-8 team. You go up against the 6-5 team in their building. Don't forget.
Yeah, that's a little harder.
And you go up against the 6-5 team. Now you go in there and dominate. And I realize we're way ahead of ourselves, and we're playing the what if game and all of those things.
But fun.
It's our show.
You go in.
You can do whatever you want.
If you go in there and you dominate Tulsa, if you go up against Vegas and you compete, all of a sudden you start feeling good. Ralph says our goal is to make the playoffs. I agree.
Yeah,
for sure.
Our goal is to get into the dance. But once you get into the dance, you start looking who your partners are going to be. And if you've competed against Vegas back in July,
and you beat them,
and then the first week of August comes along. No, I'm sorry. The end of July comes along, and you have to go back to Vegas and play them again, and you competed, earlier that month against them, I think you feel good. I think you feel like, hey, why not us? Why can't it be us? Yeah, I think this all sets up very well for, which is crazy that we're talking about this after, Leo, what you just talked about, going to Green Bay, going to Jacksonville, and having the losses that we had was demoralizing. And I think we all felt like, no. Is this really it? Is it time to pack it up and pack it in? Are we done with the season? Like, we've still got games to play, but is there any point? The hope that we have now after one game against New Mexico, I understand.
I mean, I'm so hopeful at this point that I'm looking here at the remaining schedule and I'm looking at the standings and I'm like, we're talking about just getting into the playoffs, and I'm looking at Arizona at 7-4, and we're only 3 games behind in third place, and we still have them on the schedule. If we truly win out and beat them by more than 13 points, which was the point differential in the game earlier this year, then there's a possibility we actually go in as the 3rd seed instead of the 4th. That's how hopeful I am after that performance.
Well, and if you go in as the 3rd seed and you go into San Diego instead of Vegas, and there's
a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
A lot of ifs. Yeah. What happens if we win out? Let's play the what if game, since we're doing this and we're drinking the Kool-Aid and we're doing all the things. We win out. What's our record?
9-4. Wait, no. 12-4. 12 and no. I can't. I'm not mathing.
12. This guy is not mathing.
12 and 7. 12 and 7.
12 and 14. No.
12 and 7.
We just have to win the next 5 games. That's it. And we did do that. I can't remember the name of that coach.
No, 9 and 7.
We won the last 6 games of the season.
I can't count.
What season was that? Do you remember that?
We won the first 5 games of a season, but I don't think we won the last 6 games of any season.
It was the last. I think we started off kind of weak, and then we just kind of revved it up towards the end.
I remember the opposite.
We were going to go to the playoffs. I can't remember the coach's name.
Ralph, is that a possibility? Ralph just put something in the comments that I don't even want to share because I don't want to start no
gosh.
rumors. It's not even a possibility.
But that's not being hopeful. That's something different. No.
Yeah, if you're not on YouTube, you don't get to see what Ralph just put in. But Ralph just put in something, and I'm like, wow, that would change the complete dynamic of things. I don't think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
We do play them. They are still on our schedule.
We do have them on the schedule. I don't recall the season you're talking about, RC. I'd have to go back and look at it.
I might be dreaming, but that's okay.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Before Tom and Oz.
Fred Shaw.
Fred Shaw.
Wasn't one of the first season of Fred Shaw, not the second season of Fred Shaw. How did we do that season? Nothing.
It was
it's a blur.
It was a 500 record, if I remember correctly. It was.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think.
Where maybe we started doing a little bit better at the end, but it was too little, too late.
Let's go back. How close were we to the playoffs in all the seasons that we've been doing the podcast and the football? Was there any?
We made the playoffs one year. The year we went 5-0 to start the season, we made the playoffs that year. We lost in Carolina to the Cobras in the playoffs.
Who was the coach that season?
Fred Shaw. It was his final game.
Maybe I confused front and back. I don't know.
Yeah, it was his final game. Let's see. Looking at the schedule, we do not play San Diego again, but we play the other 2 playoff teams.
We got Orlando, Arizona, and then Iowa. Last game.
Yes, Tulsa, Vegas, Orlando, Arizona, Iowa. Watch party is a go. Ralph said he reached out to Matt, and Matt said sounds good. So be looking for information about the watch party. It's coming.
April, pick me up. I'm in Alamo Ranch. I'll be your gal. First drinks on me. How about that?
Tulsa. Yeah, I really like this. I really like the way the schedule sets up. You go into Tulsa, you go into Vegas. That is the gauntlet that you have left because both of those teams are on the road. You come out with a win and a loss. You beat Tulsa. You compete against Vegas, but you still ultimately lose. Let's not drink the hopium too much. Let's say we go into Vegas, and because it's in their home and they are the champions and experienced, they're able to hold on to that game. Then you go into Orlando, a little mini get-right game after a loss, and you go and take on Arizona, who is faltering at this point in the season. They are starting to come apart a little bit, it seems. You get a chance there to, at home, play a playoff team, and then you finish out the season against Iowa. That is, all things considered, playing the way you're playing the game right now, that's a win. That should be a win. So Orlando should be a win. Iowa should be a win. The two that I would put question marks at right now is Vegas and Arizona, which means you would finish the season. You're currently 4-7. You'd finish the season at 7-9. Is 7-9 good enough to get in the playoffs? I think it is. I think it is.
Wait, we're only losing to Vegas, right?
No, I'm saying Vegas. Let's say you lose to Vegas. I said the only two question marks I would put on the schedule are Vegas and Arizona, playing the way that we're playing. If you lost both of those games,
oh, if you lose both of those, then 7-9, yeah. Yeah, you're being a real downer on us now, Philip.
April says, Ralph, I may have just invited a lot of people to come to the watch party. That's what we want. We want lots of people at the watch party. Josh says he'll go live from the game. It'll probably be faster than the network.
I bet if he goes live from the game, we won't get the event is delayed, which we probably will get. Otherwise,
which service is this game on? I got to go back and dig and find my schedule that tells me which one this one's on.
Oh yeah, it doesn't say.
I'm hoping it's on.
One thing that you did miss at the game was these treats. They had a new vendor. It was called Frostbite Farm. And they
tell me a little bit about that.
Dried candies. And we were munching on these for the rest of the game. So good.
It is on overnight.
It is on overnight. I did the same thing. I went and found it.
Yeah, and those candies were really good. By the way.
Yes, look at this.
Yeah. Yes. Very good. But yeah, overnight is better than Yahoo because at least we go back and watch it so long as they don't eat away too much into the first quarter with their event is delayed bull crap.
Yeah, I mean, we do get that with overnight and not necessarily the Yahoo Sports, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the event is delayed start, or do you prefer being able to actually go back and rewatch the broadcast later? Or just be gone after the live? Yeah, I think I prefer that too, RC.
Plus, you get all those
to choose.
Plus, you get all those cool rowing and water polo ads.
Oh yeah,
Ralph Judkins points out the water polo ads. Dolores, also, thank you for sharing RC. They were delicious. Talking about what is it? Frostbite Farms?
Yes, Frostbite
Farms.
Yeah.
Cool deal there. No pun intended. Cool deal on that. Hey, talk amongst yourself. I'm going to send another quick message to Coach Bain. I really want to talk to Coach Bain. There's sometimes
him into...
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get him to.
Tell them the people.
One thing, okay, so as we're talking by ourselves, Leo, I was really surprised that more people weren't dressed up like superheroes.
You know, that's true. in the past there has been a little bit more
And Loneliness makes the best Wonder
enthusiasm.
Woman.
In, a lot. There's been more participation in the dressing up, ourselves included. That's why I wasn't even going to bring it up, because in the past I've dressed up. Lolisa's dressed up, and we didn't this year. I think Loli says she's retired. From cosplay. She said she's retired from cosplaying. I don't know if she was just in a bad mood at the time when she made that statement. Yes, there was not a whole lot. But you know what? Fair point of Ralph saying about the Comic-Con. That's where everybody was, because they did have Space Con at the venue right behind us. And I did see a couple of people that were in the stands that were dressed up that I had seen outside coming towards Freeman from what I assume coming from SpaceCon. So I think the Gunslingers took advantage of that opportunity. I hope they did. And if they did, it worked out, because I hope they took advantage and sent some representatives over to SpaceCon to hand out tickets and tell people, hey, there's something going on next door that you might want to catch and have a good time with. And it's superhero night, so you're already dressed, so come on out, because we did see some people in costume there, but not nearly as much as we have in the past. We did have some really cool videos though, up on the Jumbotron, with some hoop superhero action and graphics. None of it, by the way, which was a copyright infringement. Not at all. No. It was great stuff though, and entertaining to watch. The people are demanding Coach Jonathan Bain in the comments, by the way.
Oh my God.
They're like, we want Bain. He
might be busy. He might be doing some other things. I don't want to pressure him too much. But we do want to shower him with some praise. Look, it's been a rough season up to this point. He has earned the right to bask in this a little bit and go, hey, I told you guys, just stick with me. And once we get execution figured out, you're going to see something amazing.
And we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, he's a little like Doc Brown there in Back to the Future. When this thing hits 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious stuff. And we saw some serious stuff once it hit cruising speed. We saw some good stuff. So,
I was going to comment real quick. Ralph says Robert Seco videos always the price. Definitely, but on that note, I was thinking of messaging Robert Seco, and I was like, hey, come on, I need a highlight video. We don't have the replay out there, and I need to see some of those I'm going to say Calceda. Some of those Calceda passes.
Calzada.
Now we're going to have this whole debate again until someone sets us straight.
Calzada.
Calzada. I just want to see some of those plays again.
How about this? Tell us the story behind this. Your wife says that you and Coach Bain had a moment at the game. That was pretty cool to see. Tell us about what happened there.
Oh, yeah. This was
do tell.
No, it was towards the end of the game. The Gunslingers already had it locked up, and they were near our end zone driving the opposite way. And he was engaging some fans over in the corner of the end zone to our right. And I just was so excited about what we had seen, and I knew that he had to be excited about what his team had just done. And so I was like, I have to get his attention. I'm like, Coach Bain. And he heard me, turned around, and he looks at me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, guns up, baby. And he turns at me, he gives me the thumbs up, and he gives me the guns up, because I know that he saw more than what I saw, and what we all saw in that end zone, we were just so excited about. So I just had to share that with him. I knew I wasn't going to be around after the game because I'm a terrible fan, and I wanted to get home to watch another game, and I should have just stayed there now and looking back on it. But to be fair, we had family at the house waiting for us, so that's
don't want to miss the first half of a Spurs-Knicks game, because that's the good half.
That's the good half.
Yeah.
We can laugh and joke about it now. It keeps us from crying. Hail the conquering hero. You've been asking for him, and here he is. I bugged him and pestered him. He was going to stay away for a week, but I just begged him to come on because we want to talk to you a little bit about what you saw Saturday. We know what we saw, but how does it feel to know? You've talked to us week in and week out. You've talked about execution being the big piece you're missing for whatever reason, and we've kind of pointed directly to Zach and said execution was there. Things finally worked the way that you have envisioned them all season long. How's that feel? What does that look like from your perspective?
Oh, it was awesome. And that's across the board, and before we dive in on adding, Calzada, but across the board, just how all phases, right? But I think having that confidence in your quarterback as a teammate, just being, playing
yes.
I tell them all, I've been in their shoes more than I've been in the head coaching role, right? It's kind of what you embrace as a quarterback, especially playing at the professional level, is all eyes are on you no matter what. I mean, no matter what. And sure, an outsider looking in is like, man, that's a lot of responsibility, but it's part of your job description. You signed up for it when you were in Pop Warner, and quarterback was the position you got, and but leading into Zach, he just came in, and I mean this, he had 2 days of practice, and just was the ultimate pro. He earned the respect of the guys in practice, just how he carried himself, his preparation. I mean, I was dropping him off at his spot at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. We get started at 6 a.m., 5:30 in the morning. And I dream for that. I ain't gonna lie. That's like it's something I always envisioned of wanting. It's him wanting that, asking for that. And no, he's just the ultimate. And then I gotta also, man, while we're on this topic, I gotta give a lot of props to Joaquin. Joaquin was a huge part of the preparation process. Handled it like a champ. Just, I mean, you got to imagine he's been here, 2 years, but really every game this season, Zach comes in and he asked in practice, like, hey, coach, what are your thoughts? You going to go with Zach? And I was like, honestly, we just looking for a spark, man. It's nothing against you. That's why you're still here. I still believe in you. But just looking for a spark this weekend and want to see what he's got. And I mean, he took that as a challenge of how can I help get Zach ready? How can I talk to him as a player? Not just, he's hearing it from me, but if there's one thing I can tell you, and it's unfortunate, especially how the game ended for Joaquin in Jacksonville, I just always feel for him, man. Even if you go all the way back to Tulsa week 1, he comes in, he's going to the right place with the ball, and it just slips out of his hand,
Right.
And as much as I don't want to make an excuse, it's just tough, man. That's hard, So I know he knows what's going on, and he's a student of the game. He's a coach himself, outside of here. But man, I literally couldn't ask for a better teammate in that quarterback room than Joaquin Colasso and how he helped. And then do you see how he played, right? Just his confidence went up. And that's how infectious having a quarterback like Zach does to your whole team, And it's not, I never want to say, oh, we benched you, Joaquin. It ain't that, right? We're in this thing together. Anytime he can get a chance to get on the field, I know I can trust him. He can get out there and execute, when asked. So, but yeah, super excited about Zach, as y'all can see. And I didn't want to overhype it the other day. I just wanted the fans to get some buzz going into the home game.
Sure.
I just wanted to say, hey, we got a new guy. And whenever I say this, like he's a next level ball player. Not to say he ain't going to go through lumps. This is a very fast game.
Right.
He'll tell you that. It's funny. We joked in film today, like just maybe a misread or two, but still ends up in a touchdown on the other side of the field. Just how he can extend plays and his arm strength and talent. But that's him, coach. Hey, I should have went here with the ball. And we're talking about a 15-yard gain compared to the touchdown he threw. But
right.
Just in the system, right? Just taking what they give you type thing. But man, he really opened up the offense, and like I say, everybody just fed off of it. And I kept saying, our defense will be better when our offense is better.
Yeah,
it just works that way. It's
100%.
complementary football. So yeah, I was really excited about that, and we're not going to get too high. You know what I mean? We enjoy it. It was fun.
We are.
We've already got you in the playoffs. We've already got you.
We are.
No, y'all deserve to. I just want to, and I'm not a Debbie Downer by any means. I told them, let's just ride this wave, ride this momentum, take care of it 1 week at a time. At the end of the day, we're in control of our own destiny as long as we just keep chipping away every week and quit. Don't look at the standings. I'm telling the team, let's just you win every game. Guess what? You give yourself a dang good chance. That's where I say do what you can and let the chips fall where they may. But I will say adding Zach to the mix, just how dynamic he is in the run game, how athletic he is. Even avoiding rushes, gaining more depth, and still throwing footballs 45 yards off his back leg. He just gives our guys a chance. I know our receivers loved it. Everybody had it seemed 2 touchdowns, and
Yeah.
and honestly, in any offense, this is the same type of stuff I'd run when I played. That's kind of what it looked like, in a sense of everybody's going to touch the ball because we don't call plays just for a player. We call plays to
Mhm.
beat coverage. So we should never be watching a receiver run a route as much as we should be reading defenses and let the defense take you where the ball needs to go. So, but yeah,
This
sorry.
is kind of a perfect time in your schedule to make this change. Look, New Mexico is a professional football team.
Yes, sir.
They are new, they are learning, but they are still a professional football team in the IFL. So I am not discounting who they are at all. But to
Right.
bring in Zach, he only has 2 days worth of time with the rest of the offense and with your offense.
Yes, sir.
He gets an opportunity to go out and performs like he does. Now you go up against Tulsa. We've had conversations before. I know you upset folks out in Jacksonville by calling their defense, whatever it was, generic.
I don't
or
think I
whatever
ever
they
said
got.
generic. I just said they are who they are. But if y'all, I know y'all are still listening and paying attention to the Gunslingers. Never said that. Actually tipped my hat and showed a lot of respect for y'all. But whatever fuels anybody's fire, I don't care. Because I'm never
Sure.
here to bash nobody. I've never disrespected nobody in this game. It's just not in my DNA. But like I say, whatever fuels anybody's fire, they can take it. But I do say, I'm not talking out of the side of my neck. I just thought they are who they are and they're good at it, right? But the first half showed us we knew who they are. It's just, turnovers got to us, and I don't know that their defense caused us to fumble the ball twice or throw a throwaway ball to the middle of the field with nobody,
Right.
And it's
Right.
not hating, I tip my hat, man. They got a good ball club out there. I got a lot of love in Jacksonville. Heck, I played, you know what I mean? That was a former place I played and
Won a championship
honestly,
there, yeah.
yeah, got more love, after the game. That was a fun game for me. Always is. I loved playing against the Sharks as a player, playing with the Sharks. It's great for indoor football. So nothing but love for them. But they had T-shirts made, and I was honestly, I felt it was I was just thrown away when at the end of the game everybody started because they were saying it all game, and I'm so confused. I'm like, what are they saying? They had this little Mighty Mouse coach over there just running his mouth. I never knew, but I was just like, what is going on? And then a player came up to me in the fourth quarter after our second fumble in the end zone, and he's like, generic defense, huh? Don't you ever disrespect us again. I was like, generic? I might have to go rewatch. I think I said they are they line up in their defense before the offense breaks their huddle. So I'm sorry, but
Right.
you are who you are, and that you do it really well. So there's my props to them. But
Sure.
and once again,
Now
good teams, they do what they do really well.
Right.
That's not a knock. It's not a knock at all. I think it's fair
No.
to say as an offensive coordinator, it helps kind of knowing what you're going up against. It helps me. I think that rather than a team that just rolls the dice and just calls different coverage every play, and now you guessing. You know what I mean? But no, they're a sound football team, man. A lot of respect for them. So sorry,
Now,
Jacksonville.
You go up against Tulsa this week. You and I have had conversations. We may have had them here on the show, but I know we've had them offline. That Tulsa's coaching staff would admit that their suspect part of their game is that they tend to run a pretty basic, we won't use the word generic, the pretty basic shell sort of zone defense, and they're worried about that getting picked apart. You have an opportunity now to take your new quarterback with an extra week worth of work and go up against one of those kind of defenses. All of that in preparation for a showdown in Vegas against the team that dominated you in your house earlier this season. I think that's fair to say. They just kind of
absolutely.
They kind of dominated you in your house. Is there a better time for you to make this change and sort of find this spark plug than this sort of progression of New Mexico to Tulsa to Vegas, just to get an idea of where you are as you go into the last month of the season?
Yeah, it's going to be a great test. And, a lot of respect for Tulsa. They're on, a 5-game win streak right now? And if you even look at their losses, they were losing games scoring 60 points. That's tough. That's still a good ball club. That's why I say the records don't always show a team. And they're arguably one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They've gotten us, the last 5 games I've been a part of, 3 last year and 2 this year. So nothing but respect for Coach Jones and Coach Back over there. handling business. And again, they're really good at what they do. That bend don't break defense. They force you to score in the red zone. It's a very smart tactic. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It don't
Yeah.
matter what if they give up yards or whatever, but they last 5 weeks they found a way to win games, and win tight games. And that's hats off to them. But yeah, it was a good game this week, I think, to get his feet wet. I wasn't gonna let him, and I told him this, asked him how comfortable he felt. And he, like I say, he's a very confident kid, not arrogant at all, but he trusts in it. That confidence comes from preparation, right? And he's going to prepare. He showed me that in 2 days last week. So and already been at it again today. But yeah, I think it's a matchup. You see an opponent a lot of times. They are good at what they do. They've actually mixed some things up. We saw on film. But it's not like the Arizonas that just play man the whole game, right? Where they just try to outman you and put pressure on. They're a team you got to scheme up against. So I think it'll be good for Zach. You go from New Mexico. He had a really good game, really good outing, and I told him, with all due respect, they don't all go this way. But it don't take away from his execution. But I think he's up for the challenge. I know we are up for the challenge, and it's something we preached all year, but we're trying to find our way. And I will take the blame for the 3-7 leading up to last week. The turnovers is hard, because I played, so I never could blame my coach for throwing in, ball where it shouldn't go. But I'll take it, so maybe I wasn't getting what I saw across good enough. So I've grown as a coach in the last week, but at the end of the day, I do think it allows us to play our best ball on all phases, right? Because now you got the defense fired up. They're actually standing up to watch the offense this past Saturday, hooping and hollering and chest bumping and all the things, and not, we got 25 plus turnovers on the season leading up into last week. So that could be devastating. If I'm on the defense, I'm just being honest, as much as we preach for them to stick together, man, at some point they're going to be like, Coach, what the heck, man? We got to do something. Yeah, Zach gives us a good chance. He's a great leader, like I said, great athlete, and I think he's ready for the challenge this week against a really good Tulsa team who's scratching and clawing to really make a real push in that East. I think they're honestly the most dangerous team in the East right now, in my honest opinion, playing,
Oh man, Sharks fans are gonna love that.
I'm just saying, momentum wise, you know how the game goes, just momentum wise, and the additions they made. I mean, they signed offensive rookie of the year last year from Green Bay and TJ Davis, phenomenal athlete. They've made adjustments every week. If you pay attention to the transaction sheets, they're here. You know what I mean? They're ready to make a run. And like I said, hats off to them. Got a lot of respect for them. So it should be a really good game. And heck, man, 0-5 in the last 2 years against them. I hope our boys are ready to play and we go out there and try to steal one in Tulsa.
You've been around the sport a long time. Let's take the whole changing our offense and all of that out. You've heard the adage, I know I've heard it all of my life, that it's so hard to beat a team 3 times in the same year. Why is that? Is that true in your experience? And why is that?
I think it. I mean, from personal experience, 20 what? No, getting too old, I guess. 22, right when I was in Carolina, we beat Albany, whooped up on them 3 games, right, and then they smacked us in the championship. So there might be some truth to that, But no, you just get familiar with the teams, and they know, like week 1, it was a dogfight. It wasn't pretty, right? There was turnovers on both sides. It was kind of an game. But it was a good game. I don't think they got out there and said we whooped San Antonio's butt by any means. I think we led in all the stat categories except for the scoreboard. And then they come back and we were playing them really well, and then the turnovers happened and kind of the story of our season. But I think if you ask them, we got a pretty good ball club. I haven't met a team yet or a coach on the other end that's like, man, y'all just suck. You know what I mean? Like that was y'all are the bottom feeders. Really talented team, but I just think I know how important that trigger man is, and kind of having that new spark, it gives us a really good chance, and whether it's New Mexico, I tell them it don't matter. I still respect that. Coach Kyle Moore Brown's awesome coach, legend player from the Arena League, knows this game. They're just going through some tough stuff right now too, but you don't think they're out there trying to get, their second win of the season. You're kind of getting everybody's best whenever you play those type of teams, and they fought, and then it just kind of bounced our way. It is what it is. But Yeah, we're excited about going into Tulsa, and then we got a nice tough schedule to end the season. But what better way, right? If you really think you're a playoff team or deserve that fourth seed, uh, well, guess what? You got to beat good teams, and we haven't really, as far as record wise, beat the top opponents in this league.
Right.
So I accept the challenges and looking forward to each and every week, starting with Tulsa this week, and then Vegas, and then Orlando, and then Arizona and Iowa. So
let's back up a minute because we're going to be talking a lot about Calzada. Oh, we have to settle an argument we've been having. We called him Calzada last week. On the broadcast, they called him Calzada. And we got to ask you, what does he prefer? Because we haven't had him on the show yet. But next week, we'd sure like to have him on the show. But
yeah, he'd be great. It'd be cool to hear from. I would ask him. I will say I called him Calzada. I knew of him in college and stuff, just being a football fan.
Sure.
But I think his voicemail the other day when I called him said Calzada, I believe. So I switched it.
Okay.
And he didn't correct me either which way. So I think it's one of them names kind of like Joaquin. You kind of hear everything your whole life, and you just, when it sounds close, you're just like, hey, it's you get tired of correcting everybody. But I believe the voicemail said Calzada, but I've been
Tell
guilty
us
of calling
a
him Calzada.
story about how he becomes the San Antonio Gunslinger quarterback. How did you find him? I mean, we know that he hit he was in the CFL and then was released by the Red Blacks in mid-May. How does he wind up here in San Antonio? Tell us that story.
This is kind of funny, just even before that. So I looked, he followed me on Instagram after we signed him. And I actually messaged him December 2nd of this past season in the off season, just reaching out, just to see, hey, what are your plans? I saw in Kentucky it ended up getting hurt. So I didn't know what his NFL buzz was still like, because he had a lot leaving A&M, came to Incarnate Word, was player of the year for the Southland, so got some more buzz. Got a really nice deal to go to Kentucky, and then, an injury got him. But so being my brother's there at Incarnate Word now as the OC, he called me one day and he's like, hey, Calzada got released out of the CFL. I'm like, really? Because I'm mind blown. I'm just being honest. Talent level, how do you release this kid? You know what I mean? I'm just being honest, like arm strength, size, speed, everything, smart, good leader. And of course, the CFL being around all my time here in ball, like it's always some weird stuff going on, whether it be politics or numbers or, oh, this guy was in the league last year or whatever. He came available, and I told my brother, I said, well, can you get me his number? And he's like standing there at practice, actually, and their coach, Coach White, I believe he's the receivers coach, had a really good relationship with Calzada, and said, here, I'm gonna FaceTime him right now. And like kind of laughing, but like he goes, Calzada loves football, man. And I think if he had an opportunity to play professional football, so he called him and said, hey, you want to play in a professional football game this weekend? And Calzada said, what? Tell me more.
Cool.
They got off the phone. He called me. Coach White called me back. I got on the phone with Calzada. He said, tell me a little bit more about it. What am I signing up for? I did. And he said, well, when do you need me there by? And this was Tuesday. And I was like, man, if you could get here tonight, that'd be great. I know you're in Georgia. But then I want to say it was Wednesday morning. He pulled up and was ready to rock. I mean, some guys, with that kind of resume, not knowing, you get a lot, and I've only know this from playing and then recruiting these type of guys, is they kind of look down like IFL, what's that, and there's always a bad taste in your mouth about arena football just due to all the different leagues that pop up and fold and playing with practice. They don't know the difference of the leagues. They just see that. And man, he was so stoked. And one of the coolest comments is he told me the other night during the game, it was in the fourth quarter when we played, he said, Coach, this is some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. And it just, I love to see that, because you never know what he's going through. I haven't, personally talking, I'm not putting his business out there. I don't know. I just can only imagine, his story and where he's been, and then the injury, right? And then he gets a shot in the CFL, and then somehow it don't work out, and it wasn't a talent thing. And I don't know where you're at mentally, but just to see that joy on his face, I mean, the kid was really having a really, really good time. And to me, that's what matters, man. That's why I'm coaching. Of course, it's to win ball games, but it's to help anybody anyway, any chance I can. And just the fulfillment I felt just from seeing that smile on his face and him just enjoying every moment was really cool. And he's played some big time ball, right? He played in front of 120,000, starting every game out there that sophomore year in A&M. So just to hear that, though, it's like, who knows where he takes it from here. And I just know he deserves a shot at that next level any chance he gets it. So.
Yeah, Coach.
Awesome.
So you mentioned it earlier about the difference uh, from where he's been, where Calceda has played, and the difference in the game. We all know it's a different game indoor, and he's asking you about that. When he's talking to you and tell me more about it. That's what kind of struck me the most, is because I looked up his history. I saw, learned a little bit about him going into the game, and
Right.
usually, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually a quarterback, even a talented quarterback like Calzada is, there's some adjustment. There's a period of
Yep.
adjustment to the indoor game versus what you're used to playing. Just the way routes are run, the size of the field, and he looked to me like a guy that had been playing, indoor football for a couple of years, which was amazing to me. I mean, had you seen something like that before, or am I just wrong? Like that's not that big of an adjustment?
Right. No, it's a huge adjustment. And I'm telling you, that's the most I'm proud about. And I'm not wanting to jinx him or anything, but I've never in my years seen just a flat rookie come in, even after a camp, a rookie in the beginning of the season. You go through 2 weeks of camp and you step onto the field week one. I have never seen a rookie that poised, just in command. Um, and I don't care who you're playing. Some of the footballs he threw, like I said, off his back foot, just respecting the quarterback play, right? And it's not I don't care what opponent was out there, but just some of the balls he threw to give his receivers a chance where it was them or no, even two of them called back for holding, right? Where you're like,
Mm-hmm.
how did he put it there? You know, that you can't really teach. I'm just being honest. You either got it or
Oh.
you don't, especially at this level. Like you ain't gonna tweak of his throwing motion or any. That's just an arm talent, right? And if you look at his NFL grade, going into the draft process, he's got an elite arm. He ranks at the top of them. Uh, but to see him be, and that's what I was worried about too, is his arm too big, right? That's a
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's a real thing.
Sure.
Uh, and man, like I said, but I think it just goes into his preparation, because even from day one to day two at practice, and the receivers, man, we got such a great receiving core, such a great
Mm-hmm.
receiving core in the sense of just who they are, right? Great dudes, you know, practice all day. We were in the arena, but the AC wasn't on. Them poor guys were just dying, right? It was in the Texas, like a hot box in that arena, but it was amazing for him to feel the field. But then staying after, getting extra throws, talking different things, meeting at the apartments, all the different things that you want your trigger man to do. But I think he went in there really prepared. I think he trusts what he saw all week, and that's why we watch film and prepare. Um, he came with his own ideas too, good or bad. You know what I mean? Some things he thinks, hey, why would this work? And then you kind of fill him in on the rules or whatever. And it's
Mhm.
like, oh, okay. But just really like, you know what I mean? Kind of on that next level. And it was really fun to work with last week, and like I said, it's I'm excited to see how he reacts this week in a very, very awesome environment, right? There's going to be a lot of people in Tulsa, a really good team. Like I said, I respect them. They play tough football. I mean, their head coach is arguably one of the best defensive players to ever play college football, right? He's you look him up. That's when linebacker was played the real way. You know what I mean? But so a lot of love and respect for him. Then you got Coach Billy back on the other side of the ball that
Yep.
been around a long time, won a lot of championships. I've had a lot. I've known him since my rookie year. I want to say my second start of my career was against Coach Billy back when he was in Nashville. We played 3 times, that year and every year. So, I know, he's going to have them boys ready. But I'm ready for Zach, to build on this. That's what I told him. And he'll be the first to tell you this game means nothing anymore. You know what I mean? It was fun.
Right.
We enjoyed it. We needed it. But how do we respond? So,
How do you feel about? I don't even know if you know this or not, but your team this Saturday scored more points than anybody in the IFL
yep.
all year. Does that matter? Does that mean anything to you? Does that make you feel better about the offense you put together, which has struggled this season?
Yep.
Do you look at it and go, okay, we are doing the right thing. We just got to execute what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. Again, it was never out of arrogance. I'm always working to get better every week, right? So I'm never saying, please don't anybody watching or any other team. I just man, they're gonna blow it up. But I said that we're not gonna change. I don't want to change our standard. I'm not gonna change the offense. We have to change. What I have to change is trying to get the guy throwing the ball or orchestrating the ball that touches the hand every single play to understand what I'm trying to do when I do it, right? And I take pride in that part and wanting to, coach guys up and do that kind of thing. But Yeah, I mean, I think it shows, and I'll actually give you a quote. I don't even know if he'll care if I say this, but Joaquin Colasso comes up to me at the end of the game and said, "Coach Bain, this should have been happening all season as far as our offensive production." And he actually gave me like, "I'll be better" type talk, man. And it meant and that's who he is, man. And he works so hard. He's one of the hardest workers I've been around. He wants to be great. And he's had, like I said, it's never excuse, but he's had some unfortunate events, man, with the injury, playing so well against
Right.
San Diego and then goes out and then, we had to play an injured quarterback that came in. We had 3 turnovers, 3 drives in a row, and then boom, now the game's out of reach. And it's like, what the heck?
Right.
I felt so bad for him, but just who he is as a man and a teammate and a brother to these guys is I can never commend him enough. But to have that comment, and that's what he said, it's just about executing, just and to me, what I was proud of, it wasn't even so much what the scoreboard said, as it was how many possessions we had and how many touchdowns we had. That's
Right.
all I care about.
Mhm.
Because I mean, some games like we played Naz and we had 6 possessions. You know what I mean? So you can't score 70. It's not going to
Right.
happen. So,
Right.
but I'm just big on. I tell them we break the huddle every offensive series with execute, and that rounds up everything that has to do with work hard, do your job. I'll execute. That means that's a big, broad word that says do your job, all the great things. And just to see that, I was so proud. And then, like I say, Colasso come off the bench in the fourth and go 7 for 7 with 2 touchdowns. I was so happy for him, and you saw the
Incredible.
smile on his
Yeah.
face. It was just really cool. And it wasn't there to chase points or to try to run. I didn't even know what the season high was this season. I just challenged my guys each and every drive to go score, and at the end, the last 2 drives throwing screens because I don't want to get my running back just tattooed every play. But just and that stuff we need to work on. I told that to Coach Brown. You know. It was never like trying to run up the score or anything. He understood, like, I'm at a point in our season, like, we have a shot at this thing to go to the playoffs, and we have to get better with live reps. You can't imitate game reps in practice. You just can't.
Right.
You can
Right.
do the scheme, you can do this, but live reps is the best practice you can possibly get. And that was just a way to try to work different things and put our guys in situations that maybe we don't rep every day or we don't call every play. But man, that's what I was proud of. Just back to your point, is just the execution of each drive. I don't points per game. Coaches have goals. I want to score 58 a game, and I don't care as long as we win, honestly, and as long as we are executing every drive we get a chance to.
Yeah, about middle of the second quarter, I texted both Leo and Ralph the same thing. I said, I don't care if you beat them by 70 at this point. This is no, because you were firmly in control of the game by the middle of the second quarter. I said, I don't care if you beat them by 70. This game no longer has anything to do with this game. It's about the
Yeah,
future.
that's
It's about
strictly all it
setting up the
was.
confidence and
All it
the
was.
future. Yeah.
All it was. Yeah. I mean, and like, just get in the locker room right. I mean, there's a time, and I talked to Coach Brown, actually talked to Coach Hemphill in the middle of the challenge, but they tried to run the ball in at the end, and we're up 40, and I challenged the no touchdown. But in all reality,
Yeah.
you know what that
I love it.
was giving, and it wasn't a shade at them, and that's why I made sure to say it to them. It more or less was, previously last week in Jacksonville, the defense begged me to challenge 3 calls, right? They had their motion men blocking our end the whole entire game. Well, during the defense is on the field, I'm usually over there talking to the offense, so I'm not watching every play. Well, our snip back, sorry, Todd, if I get in trouble, but it's been horrible every game. We don't get a drive until 2 drives later, so it ain't like I can just go rewatch the film.
Right.
And I'm huge on timeouts, so I didn't challenge it. And I just, and I gave the defense my word after the game, because we got in film on Monday and they were upset. Coach, we asked you to challenge that and we didn't. Well, I didn't have proof, and I need those timeouts, you see. But I did give them my word. You know what? Y'all work your tails off for me just as much as I want y'all to believe in me. I'm going to believe in you. And if you saw that reaction by all 8 guys plus our DC saying throw the challenge flag, I owed that to them, just to let them know I do got your
Right.
back. I do trust you. I
Right.
do believe in you. And we're in this thing together. And that's all that strictly was. It wasn't a shade or shot at New Mexico, and this is sad, but honestly, I kind of wished it would have came back as their score, so it didn't look like a jackass move, because that
Right.
really wasn't my intentions. It was more or less, how do we keep this going for weeks to come, and what we're trying to build up to. And a lot of that is just trust and just showing your players you're there for them, and they put a lot of work into this too. So I do, as a former player, believe they got some say in some of this as well. So that's all that was for.
Fair enough.
But
Well, we're going to go ahead, Leo.
No, I was just just enjoying this. That's all, man.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're excited about where we are. We're excited about what's next. Um, I'm even excited about the Vegas game at this point. I'm excited to see where we stand up against the team that won a championship last year, that has really played well in the first part of this season. Came into our house and kind of embarrassed us.
Whooped us.
I'm interested to
Yep.
see where we stack up against them at this point. And so I'm not looking past Tulsa, but I'm really looking at that Vegas game, a game, I'll be honest with you, up until Saturday night, I was kind of dreading the Vegas game, to be really honest with you. It was just like, oh man, I don't, that's going to be a tough one. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like, okay, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what we have and what we're going to take into Vegas, into their house, and do there, and where we stack up against them.
Yeah, there's a nice little
And
stretch here, and that's like I say, not to go past Tulsa at all, man. This is going to be a dog fight, and we got to play our best ball to get out of there with a win, by all means. But just even the next few, I mean, because you can't overlook any of them, honestly. Like it's just not, you know what I mean. We're in that pack right now where it's like, hey, we got to win, and if we got to win, the ain't gonna be handed to us, And Orlando's got a great team right after Vegas, they as far as talent, they're arguably the best team on paper if you look at talent, so you never know. And then you got Arizona, and then you got Iowa, so like I said, you playoffs, yeah, it's a goal. But I say our goal is to win each and every day, right? And then that hopefully takes care of Saturdays for us, and it at least gives us our best chance, and I know we're fighting for that. But before we go, nobody's generic out here. I didn't say generic. I ain't hurt nobody's feelings.
No.
I don't need none of that. And every one of you that said it, that know me, know y'all are full of it. But it is what it is. But no, I got a lot of respect for everybody in this league. I got so much love for this league. That's why I coach it, man. I ain't getting rich doing this. I love it. I love it. It was my NFL. And now I get a chance to give back to it in any way possible and help young men trying to chase whatever dreams that, or actually not help them chase it, but help them realize they're living a dream and just be where their feet are, and help them in any way I possibly can. So respect to all the coaches out there and teams. I know what it takes to, make this thing go, and got respect for everybody out there. So no shade for me, but respect all, but I fear none. Fear none.
Absolutely.
If a 9-2 fan base really needs that extra motivation to get up for a game, to listen to our show and pick apart what the coach says, more power to them. If that's what they need to get excited about their team, I'm glad
like I
we
said,
can
whatever
help them
makes
out.
you tick. I don't get caught up into no media. I honestly don't listen to no, and I've never, if I had a problem or wanted to say something to anybody, I think anybody knows it's a blessing and a curse, but I'll just probably go out and say it. But nah, it wasn't none of that. But like I say, whatever gets anybody going, I know this game.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But just so everybody knows, ain't no shade thrown from me. I'm out here. We're going to try to earn it each and every week, and respect every single opponent we face, right? Because it is pro ball. You're supposed to do that. But we will
That's
never
true.
walk into a game scared or worried, or no matter what the chitter chatter is. If you got a T-shirt with my face, I don't give a crap. We're here to play ball. I've heard worse. I've been told worse. I probably said worse than they are who they are,
Sure.
and never was a shade. But I yeah, just want to make sure everybody's clear, so we don't, I don't get a phone call on Saturday that I disrespected anybody.
Sure.
And but tell the guys we love them and go get us win. Yes, ma'am. And they love y'all. They that turnout this past week was awesome. It was electric from the start. And once again, I know when we're scoring points, that helps the electricity in the building. And it'll also help get fans. So those of y'all that have been on board and are board, on board, I know y'all do y'all's best each and every week, but keep telling your friends. This is a special place. The show's always awesome, and hopefully we can, like I told y'all from the get-go when I got hired, is give y'all something to be proud of. And just know we're working towards that. It's always been the goal, and we ain't slowing down yet. So we're looking to get out there and get us a win in Tulsa and get back home, and just take it week by week. But we got a big one going ahead of us, and got to get started tomorrow. Started today with film, but on the field tomorrow, and just stack days, baby. That's all we can do. Control the controllables.
Well, go up there to Oklahoma,
Sounds good.
get a win, come back and get ready
need
for
it.
Vegas. That's all you need.
We
That's
need
all you
it.
got to do. So
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Coach. That's Coach Jonathan
Appreciate
Bain.
y'all. God bless
Thank
y'all.
you.
Y'all
Thank
be
you,
safe
Coach.
out there. Appreciate your fan base. Thanks for all y'all do and the support we get. Really appreciate it. All
Thanks
right.
so
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Coach Bain, man, I love talking to him, and it's a lot more fun when we're talking after a 74-18 victory over I don't care who. I don't care who you're playing.
Nope.
Interesting to hear the thought behind the challenge. I love that. I love finding out, hey, it wasn't just about keeping them off the scoreboard. It was about telling my guys that I believe in them. And if they say I should challenge, I'm going to go with them. I'm going to have confidence in what they're telling me. And they were right. They were right. And that touchdown gets called back. And if I remember correctly, they held them out of the end zone on that set. So an important challenge. I love that he says, I kind of wish they'd given him the touchdown just so I could back up my well, and I see what he's saying. I want to back up my guys, but I don't necessarily want to rub the Chupacabra's nose in the fact that they're losing, 74-18 or whatever the score was.
The fans don't care. We were all yelling, throw the flag, throw the flag.
It's exciting, it's fun, and it's something we needed. Look, it's been a rough season. I'm not going to lie. In fact, Leo, can I share a conversation that we had privately now in light of that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but I don't think I said anything that I hope I didn't
generic?
say.
Did you call the Jacksonville Sharks generic?
Generic? Were you the one?
I called them guppies.
We had a conversation just about a week ago, or a little over a week ago, that this particular season of San Antonio Gunslingers football has been tough. It might have been the roughest season to just kind of get through with some of the things that have happened off the field. Like there have been some off the field things that we don't really get into or make a big deal about, but they've kind of harshed the buzz of being around the Gunslingers a little bit too. But the big thing is just on the field. It's been hard. It's been a hard season to follow and watch and keep the energy up and keep excited about. And
I said this is the hardest season yet. In that conversation, I was really upset.
I wasn't going to put those words exactly in your mouth. No, but yes, that's what.
But I said it. I own up to it, and I was really upset at the time. That was, I think, the game against.
That was after Jacksonville. That was after the.
Was it the Jacksonville game?
Yeah.
It
was after the Jacksonville game.
And I was frustrated. I thought it might have been against the Blizzard game, because when was the one where the fan got injured and the broadcast never came back and we were stuck watching?
You're right.
You're right. The water polo commercial for like 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. That was after the Green Bay game.
Yeah,
you're right.
And we had no explanation. So at the time, I was just like, okay, it's really hard to get your expectations up. The first half we had, the second half, and then the broadcast struggles that we've been dealing with and all these things just on top of it have made it just harder to watch, like actually watch. And then as a co-host of this show, to come back and talk about, because then we can't go walk and back and watch the broadcast because it's not out there anymore. So there are just so many levels of frustration, like you said, Philip, on and off the field, that I hope the IFL really gets worked out. But yeah, I said it, and I meant it at the time, and I was frustrated, and maybe I was a little harsh, but not about the team itself. I mean, part of it was the struggles, but just the overall league product, not the Gunslingers product.
Yeah,
the Gunslingers have always had a great product when you actually are there at the Freeman Coliseum and enjoying the show that they put on. But the league product, to me, this year has been not as enjoyable as in the years past.
I would agree. I feel different. I was with you. Like I was throwing out a couple of other years, and what about this year? And remember all of these things. And we were kind of discussing. I wasn't telling you were wrong, but I was just like, you may be right. I got to tell you, if Saturday night is any sort of harbinger of what is to come on the back half of the season,
I'll take it.
it's not. Yeah, I'll take it. It's not going to be. Because here's the thing. We can't do anything about the league, obviously. We can't do anything about the broadcast. We can't do anything about the league. We've been in situations before where the league has failed to live up to the promise that the league should. Not the IFL. This will actually be the first time I feel like the IFL's done that. But we've been in other leagues where that's happened. But we were able to lean back on our team and be like, hey, but we're still having a great time with Gunslinger football.
Yeah.
And if Saturday is any sort of harbinger of anything, then it gives me hope that we can feel that way about our team, even if the league is still trying to get its act together. And so I'm okay. I'm okay now. And we'll see what happens against Tulsa. Look, maybe this game was just an aberration. Like, there's still a possibility that this was just playing New Mexico. I don't think so.
I saw what I saw, though.
We were there. We were there.
On those passes and yeah, the energy that was there and just the arm talent, the decision making. I saw what I saw. And I find it real hard to believe that this was an aberration. It's possible.
You heard Coach say it's a different feeling on the bench, on the sideline with the players when the defense is standing up watching the offense because they're excited about what the offense is doing on the field. Look, our defense has been stellar this year. They've had really great games. They've had a couple of games where they just kind of weren't able to do what they usually do. But you've got to admit, when you work as hard as our defense does and do the work that our defense does, and then the offense goes out and immediately fumbles the ball into the end zone and it's recovered by the defense for a touchdown against you. You lose on the scoreboard points that are ultimately going to get put on your shoulders, even though you didn't touch the field, because now you've given up a touchdown. You had no ability to defend against that. That's going to affect your morale. That's going to affect who you are as a player. You're going to feel like, man, we're doing everything we can do and we still can't stay ahead because the offense is giving them touchdowns. We're not giving them touchdowns, but now the offense is giving them touchdowns. It's rough. And so to get the defense engaged in the way that we were able to on Saturday, it's good news. It's good news. Zach Calzada is, and I'm going to go back to Calzada since Coach said that. Zach Calzada is the real deal. And I don't expect to see, I expect to see the same sort of performance as we saw against New Mexico, because there wasn't anything about that was bad defense was giving him opportunities. They were playing fairly solid defense. He was just beating them. And if that's the case, then that means that any defense out there that's playing solid defense, he can still beat. I think we got a steal. We talked a couple of weeks ago about what are you going to do? What are you going to get for quarterback? If you just go out there and get a quarterback off the pile, they're on the pile for a reason. We had that whole conversation. Man, you want to talk about finding a needle in the haystack? I think we did.
We did.
I absolutely think we did.
Indications are, we got very lucky. I mean, through a connection, as it turns out.
Yeah.
But hey, that's how this game works sometimes. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And a guy that just wants to play. There were several stories as Coach was talking. April Marie Trotter talked about how she talked to Zach after the game, and he just loves San Antonio. He loves the Gunslingers. He loves the fans. Remember, he played college football here in San Antonio for 2 years. He knows the city. He's connected to the city. And so he's glad to be back here. Ralph Judkins talking about the line of folks that were lined up for Zach's autograph after the game from the tailgate of Jordan's truck, which is about 15 yards off the field. They were lined up from the tailgate of the truck all the way to the 5-yard line. And he said Zach stayed and signed every autograph that was asked of him and connected with the fans that whole time. That's incredible. Like, that's a lot of fun. And I'm shocked that the Freeman Coliseum people let them be there that long. But anyway,
I really liked Coach Baines where he opened the curtain a little bit and let us know that Zachary said, like you said, he said this is one of the funnest times he's ever had in his life. You don't get a lot of opportunities in football to throw for 5 touchdowns and run for 3 in a single game.
Right.
Which
Absolutely.
he got to do his first game out. So I hope he has a ton more fun over the next 5 games. Because if you're going to get an opportunity to do that, and scoring is fun when you're an offensive player,
Absolutely.
His opportunity is right here with the San Antonio Gunslingers and that receiving core. And in this type of game, he's going to have a whole lot more fun if what we saw this past weekend is real and legit, which I believe it is because I saw what I saw.
Right. Absolutely. What you got, RC?
Well, I'm just going to say there could be a chance, which is very slim, but when I grew up in Chicago, we had a family friend. They were called the Calzadas, and they were from Cuba. And I've read a little bit about Zach and his family, and his grandfather stated that he had a sibling or a relative who lived in Chicago who had passed away. And the gentleman that I know lived in Chicago was named Calzada, and he passed away. So I don't know, but I made some phone calls to their daughters tonight, and we'll see if that's going to be a weird connection. You never know.
Sure. You never know. We are the Smoking Guns Podcast. We are a podcast that deals with football in San Antonio, specifically the San Antonio Gunslingers, and we are brought to you by some amazing folks that make it possible not only to make this show go and get us on the air and allow us to pay the bills to do what we do, but they also help us do some amazing things like sending 2 girls that you met earlier in this show, Dakota and Cecilia, to Gunslinger, to 6-shooter camp. They both got to go along with other girls. How many total?
5.
That's incredible. I remember when we used to have to struggle to find and send like 1 or 2. And now we've got 5 and we're ready to send some guys or some other kids to Gunslinger camp when they do that later in the summer. That all happens because of our Patreons. You can go to Patreon if you want to be a part of that. You can go to patreon.com/smokinggunspod. That's smoking no G, guns with a Z, P-O-D. And you can be part of this group too. But those folks are Robert Seco, Mo and Iris Ferrante, Jay Washington, Jordan Stubing, Kim and Greg Nelson, all of them. Absolutely amazing. And helped us send Dakota, helped us send Cecilia and more of their friends to camp. And they're going to help us do that again later in summer as we get toward Gunslinger camp. If you want to be a part of that, join up with us and be a part of that. We are on social media. You can find us just about everywhere at Smoking Guns Pod. But we tend to be around Facebook most often. And you can email the show at smokinggunspod@gmail.com if you know what an email is and you do that anymore. I don't think anybody really does, except the car insurance ads that want me to get a quote from them. Those are the only emails I seem to get anymore. But you can email the show if you want to do that. We're running a little long. Is there anything else?
I'm excited.
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm in a different place now than I was 2 weeks ago as we signed off the show. It's funny. Last week, as we heard about Zach, I started to get excited. I started to get excited when Leo and I and Ralph kind of picked apart because we heard a week ago, last Tuesday, we heard about Zach and that he was coming. And we started to get a little excited, but you never know. You don't know what you're going to be looking at. And now we know what we see. April's right. We all saw what we saw and we loved it. And I agree. I loved what I saw and I can't wait to see what he's going to do in Tulsa and then in Vegas. I think we found something special and I hope that I expect that to prove out over the next few weeks. With all that being said, if you're looking for the best indoor football experience, it's not going to be in Tulsa, although you can go up there and see part of it. You can see a really good game. It's not over in Vegas, although they do some great things in entertainment in Vegas. That's not what happens there. It's not down at Jacksonville in the tank, no matter how great a show they put on. If you're looking for the best indoor football experience, the 210 has got something to say.
Bang, bang.
All right, and we're
Happy
clear. Hey, folks.
Father's Day to everybody on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
If you were an audio listener, thanks for coming and finding the video. I don't know when I'm going to get audio versions up. I am elbow deep in packing right now and moving and all of those things for the next 2 weeks. And I have a 4-day work meeting that takes me to Corpus in the middle of all that. My schedule is just, no pun intended, packed right now. And so I'm not sure when audio versions, we have not had the last 2 weeks of audio versions up. And I'm not sure that this week will get up either. I will take time at some point to load them all in. I just haven't had time. It takes a certain amount of editing. So you may just have to deal with the video version of the show for another couple of weeks while we get settled up in North Texas. I'm sorry about that, but it's a lot.
It's sort of like the league. You can't go back and look at it or listen to it.
Well, you can. You just have to go to the video on YouTube or the video here on Facebook. It's there.
The league, we can't rewatch it.
Oh, yeah, that we can't.
Ralph, Harry Doyle. Nobody's listening anyway. Yeah. That's a great Major League reference. I love Harry Doyle. He is one of my favorite characters and so
we did that in Holstered Guns.
Yeah.
You missed.
Yeah, we did that movie in Holstered Guns. Okay. What?
Colleen was at the game. You missed him.
He was. We got to hang out with him and talk to him a little bit. I think I sent you a picture, Philip.
You did. You sent me a picture. How's he doing?
He's doing great. Oh, I mean, he didn't tell me not to say anything. I'm pretty sure he doesn't mind. I will say it because I didn't want to ask him. I don't want to put any pressure on him. But for those of you who are still hanging out with us, he confirmed it's on me. I haven't called the team. Okay. They have left the door open. I just haven't. I wanted to make sure I still had it in me. I wanted to make sure my body's right. I've done a few things recently to kind of test myself, and yeah, I can still do it. And I was like, "And you're wanting to still do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think so." He shook his head, and then he's like, "We'll see what happens, but it's on me. I haven't called them." He's like, "But I may." And he was impressed with the quarterback play.
You got to think, being in the building and seeing what he saw on Saturday night, he's like,
"Yeah, that's probably."
I want to get back out there and play with that.
Yeah, but there's been rumors I've.
No offense, but watching the offense up till this part of the year, you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. But seeing what he saw, and he definitely, I asked him about it. He was impressed. Right. Of course, he's like, Joaquin's my guy. I love Joaquin. And I'm like, yeah, I do too. But, it's been a rough year. And he's like, yeah, but this guy, he said, yeah, he's nice.
I'm impressed with Zach a lot.
I just want to put that to bed because there's been people, I've heard some grumblings, there's been talks and saying, yeah, the Gunslingers are saying that, hey, the phone's always there. You just got to call, but that's not really the case. Or, they're speculating. And I don't know. I can't answer to that because I don't know. I have not known until now because Kali told me himself, from the man himself, got 5 on it. Bye, RC. Yeah, he confirmed. It's on him. He hasn't called yet, but he's feeling a little bit good. So he's leaning towards that, but he didn't commit to it just yet.
Man, what a heck of a time to add him to the offense. That'd be great.
That would be something.
All right, folks.
We'll see.
Thanks for hanging out with us. I see lightning in my window for the first time this evening. Looks like a storm's coming my way, so I better get home. And we'll see. We'll see if I can get this edited. I don't think I will be able to. I think RC is gone, and that's not a particularly flattering picture. I'm going to go ahead and remove RC because I don't think she would want that up there. Thanks, guys, so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you all later. Good night.